Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where last episode I had just completed going through the outro. The credits were rolling and I didn't mention this, but look at this. Khuzestan is attempting to sway us to their side in their diplomatic play against the Khuzestani positivist revolt. And normally I'd look at that and I'd be like, I don't really care. Why would we do this? Well, the answer is because they're offering to become our protectorate. So we're in. This is just free. They've already got this under control. We don't need to do anything. They just want to become our protectorate. Beautiful. So as of right now, yeah, there's nobody in this. There's no supporting countries. And this is just completely and totally free. So that's beautiful. We just get a free protectorate. I love it. So we've got some railways going in and some universities going in. Now, we're still running a pretty good deficit at this moment, but our balance is healthy, so I don't mind it. Our amount of debt is relatively minimal at this time, so we're just going to continue to invest. Now, going through here, how many states are not currently actually incorporated? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and Kordofan. We should get Kordofan going. That, of course, finished up its colonization, and that's definitely something that we want to do. So that seems good for now. We're only colonizing over here at this moment, and we'll continue working with that. And this war has broken out, and they have no one. It's just free. So this is fine. Cool. Now, having a protectorate there isn't necessarily the biggest of deals, but sure, we'll take it. So that sounds absolutely fine for now. We do have some shortages going on out over here. So I'm assuming they're now our protectorate, right? We didn't do anything. They're defiant towards us. But yeah, they're definitely our protectorate. So let's think about, why are they defiant? Their strategic desire is to defy us. But relations are amicable. Honestly, I'm going to just ignore them. Cool. So that seems good. Are we getting any money from them? I don't think so. I don't think they have to pay us anything to be protectorate. So that's a little sad. But also, we're making 2K in tariffs. That's nice. But we're also paying, 1.92K in subventions. So it's basically entirely a wash. That's understood. For the moment, it's absolutely fine. So what's our private construction doing? Well, they're building trade centers, and that's probably for the best. We've got some issues up over here, but I'm noting there's a lumber shortage. Or no, this is a transportation shortage. Yeah, these are all transportation here. Kermanshah wants control of their own market. They're actually adjacent to us. But I'll grant it. It was free anyway, so they can have that. That'll drop their liberty desire, and hopefully they'll be a little bit less defiant towards us. Their liberty desire is naturally dropping due to amicable relations, so it should be okay. They'll get over their defiance. I don't know why they're defiant. They offered this. Sure, we didn't do anything, but we didn't need to. If we were in a position where we needed to, I would have. Postal savings have been unlocked, and we're now fully building public construction. There is no private construction occurring at this time. Now, we're currently working on privatizing a railway in Hejaz. Okay, and that'll pay off some of this debt, but it's not the biggest of deals. Let's go through and see if any of these are gray instead of red. No. Okay, that's fine. Minus 53.6% construction efficiency. Whew. That's rough. I'm going to move that down. That's a lot. I'm going to say that the threshold is 25% at this point. If it's above 25%, we'll move it down. So these should be moved down. This one should be moved down. This one barely. This one should be. This one should be. A lot of these down here should be moved down, to be clear. So we'll just keep an eye on that, and that'll be fine. Our GDP is continuing to grow. We're up to 17.4 million. Number 9, I believe our peak was number 8. So we're kind of jockeying around there. That's absolutely fine. And how are we doing on steel frame buildings? This is going to wreck our economy when we turn on steel frame buildings, by the way. It's going to be rough. We do have a number of steel mills that have been built via private construction. I wonder how many. Okay, we can absorb some amount of steel demand, but I'm thinking we should honestly build a steel mill in Palestine, maybe even 2 before we get there. I'm actually going to build 3 in Palestine, but I'm going to space these out a little bit. So we're going to do universities, steel mills, like this. We're going to need them. That's for sure. When we switch over, this is going to require explosives as well and glass. Okay. The tools I'm a little bit less concerned about. Although with the price of steel spiking, that is going to affect the price of tools. So let's check what we've got here. We do have another tooling workshop coming into Palestine. We may want to build one in... or actually a couple in Lebanon. So I'm going to build 3 tooling workshops in Lebanon. We have 1 coming in with private construction. So I'm going to do university, steel mill, university, tooling workshop, university, steel mill, university, tooling workshop, and then railway, steel mill, railway, tooling workshop. Kind of like this. That's going to take a while, and that's understood. Now, how do we feel about explosives? This is going to be rough. Explosives are going to be really, really rough. For the moment, I'm not going to build them. But we're going to be concerned about that, for sure. There's a coal mine going into Lebanon. That's nice. That's probably, like, Ukraine building that, would be my guess. So this university in Sinai, finishing up. I like it. And at this point, we're just building a lot of things. That's all there is to it. Here in Lebanon, we're at minus 3.9% construction efficiency. It's not significant, so that seems good. 23.9, that's a little rough, but it's below threshold, so we'll call it good. So yeah, I definitely want to get this done before we get this steel mill, or rather the steel frame buildings done. That's about a year out, so we definitely want to expand our production in these regards. I also think that we're going to want to have at least a little bit more production of explosives, but we'll see. Armenia wants their own market. Yeah, you can have that. I don't care. Absolutely fine. So we're pre-building some of what we're going to need. Glass. Glass is another thing that we're going to need. Okay. We're nearly maxed out on our glass production right now. Let's get what we've got currently queued up here completed, and then we can think about glass and explosives, is I think what I'm going to say. So the steel mills and the tooling workshops are the high priorities right now. And then glass is another pretty high priority. Explosives is a slightly lower priority. How many explosives is this going to cost? Okay, it's going to drop the price of iron significantly, but it's going to drive demand for steel, which drives demand for iron. That should be kind of a wash-ish. But those explosives, 155 more is the demand for that. Glass is going to be very, very significant, as is steel. I don't think we're building enough steel mills. But that's okay. So at this point, sure, this guy can lose some popularity. I don't mind that. So our GDP is absolutely skyrocketing right now. That's going up very, very high. We're still at number 9, so that's understood. As of right now, our radicals and our loyalists are very steady. That would change a fair amount, I think, if we were to switch over to a democratic government, which would probably be a good thing to do. But as of right now, our we need to get to a point where we can drop taxes, right? That's what we really need to do. Drop taxes, get another group in power, switch over to a democratic form of government, get legitimacy that way. That's what we need to do. So that's the plan there, but that's going to be a medium-term plan. That's not a short-term plan right now. As of right now, we need to be planning to switch over to steel frame construction, which is going to be very significant. That's going to be an extremely major economic event. So let's get this steel mill done. Let's get this university done. And we're getting close to getting the rest of these steel mills and tooling workshops done. At this point, I think I want to queue up a couple of glass workshops. So let's get some glass works going here. I'm going to build in... Let's start by peasants. That's a lot over in Italy. But I don't really want to ship it. Okay, I'll do it. So we're building 4 of these, and you can see that's absolutely destroying the earnings. This is way overbuilt for right now. I'm going to move the glassworks down here. We don't want to actually be working on these, and that's a large construction efficiency issue. Unincorporated state, but I think that these are going to be incorporated pretty soon, right? If we head over to, like, Campania here, this is an incorporated state. 9 years incorporated, 10 years, 18 months for Umbria, 10 years for Tuscany. Okay, so a lot of these are still a long ways away. Noted. In that case, let's build these elsewhere. So let's go into here. Let's sort by earnings for right now. I don't want to build it here. We'll put it in... We'll put 1 in Sinai. Actually, I'm just going to build them in Palestine. I'm just going to build them in Palestine. 2, 3, and where's that at? 4. This is going to be massively overbuilt in Palestine. 1,000%. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move all of these up like this. There we go. And then we can place the railway here. And then we can move up this railway, place that about here, and move up this railway. There we go. That should do. So that's underway. We'll get those glassworks built. I'm still concerned about explosives. Our explosives factory is scalable. That can go up to no, not 90. This is a fertilizer plant. Where is explosives? Here. 80 per level. So we're going to need probably 1 explosives factory. Okay. These are not ideal locations. I'm thinking putting it somewhere around Syria for right now. So I'm going to put that in at the top of the queue. Just the 1 explosives factory for now. So we're going to get that going. That seems fine. We're at only minus 10k right now. We're building 3 constructions. That's remarkable. That's actually really, really good. But we're going to have steel frame buildings very soon. We're 6 months away from that, and we're not going to have all this built by then. I'm going to move the university down. I'm going to move all of these productions up. We need to prioritize these. So we're going to get these going as soon as we can, but it's going to be a little while. So we need to move this guy up to about here. And we need to move this guy up. We got to get going on these. I want to have at least 1 glassworks underway right now, because we're definitely going to need them. We're building 4 right now, and what production is that going to give us? That's going to give us 200 glass. We're going to need a lot more than that. So that's noted. This is going to be painful. But we knew that was going to be the case. So that's absolutely fine. At least we have some amount of our production underway, and we can continue to expand this. I see that lead mine going in. That's a motor industry private construction as well. Okay, I like that. So that's all absolutely fine for right now. We got to get these going. Even though they don't have the demand right now, they're going to have the demand very shortly. So all 3 of these are actually going to be done at the same time, which is kind of remarkable. And that's very good. That will get us at least some base level of production in every category that we need. So that's looking good. But we have a long ways to go there. This is going to be constructing a whole lot faster, but this is going to be tremendously expensive. I want to be clear about that. This is going to be rough. And we're already in debt, so there's that. So how long until we have this? 12 weeks? Okay, so these are going to be done first. That's good. A silk plantation? Okay. That seems good. And we're at about 19 million GDP. We're at number 10, so we're kind of slipping in the categories here, but we can see we're definitely hitting that upward curve. We're starting to hit that exponential curve, and that's about to really explode as our construction speed increases. That's going to be a major deal here. So our economy is getting online, but it's not quite where we want it to be. Our target is to have our GDP be, well, ideally number 1, obviously, but for right now, our target is to have our GDP be the same as our prestige score, so number 7. So we've got a little ways to go on that. Our peak was number 8, so we were very close. But we're going to have this glasswork done in 3 weeks. The explosives factory currently in 5. Okay, we're actually running a surplus right now. Fascinating. I love it. That's really, really good. Paying off a little bit of this debt that we built up, but this is not going to be the case for long. We are not going to run this surplus once we switch over to steel frame buildings. I want to be very clear about that. This is going to be a big deficit. It's going to be rough, but that's okay. We don't have to be constructing all the time. So we're going to finish this steel mill very shortly, and then we've got a tooling workshop here. I think we should have this glassworks be here, and then maybe like this glasswork be here, like this. There's steel frame building unlocked, and that just gives us 5 max weekly construction progress just on its own. Not to mention the production method. That also gives us access to covered markets, and I don't know if we want to do that, but for right now, I do want to switch over to steel frame buildings. This is going to do a lot of damage to our economy. It's going to really throw some prices out of whack. Yeah, you can see right there, big deficit of glassworks. There's also some explosives deficit. This is why we built that explosives plant. So that's going to, I think, produce enough explosives there. But man, look at that steel deficit. Look at that glass deficit. Oh, this is going to be spicy. Yeah, we knew this was going to happen. This is not at all surprising. Look at that deficit, 66.9K. Whew. Not surprising. So we're not running a steel shortage at this moment. So our steel was actually able to scale up somewhat. Steel is expensive, don't get me wrong, but it was able to expand up a little bit anyway, so that we're not at least in a shortage. That's noted. We should absolutely do a subvention on glass at this time. So I'm going to subvent glass, and that's going to be a big deal. We need to get glass production online. There's a tool workshop going in. I like that. Tools are probably relatively expensive right now, but glass is our big lack at this moment. If we're private constructing a tooling workshop, I'm going to swap the location of these two. Gifts among friends. 5% of the rural folk would become loyalist. Done. We'll take some rural folk loyalists. That seems great. That's 13.7% of the country. So, I mean, that was 20k loyalists. It's not huge, but it's absolutely a good thing. So, our economy is definitely in a dire strait at this point. 36.3k, though. So, currently our interest is 10k. Obviously, our economy needs to grow quite a lot here, but we're doing better than I expected. Yeah, we've got a big glass shortage. There's no doubt about that. But we just hit 20 million GDP, bringing us to number 9. And we're constructing way faster now. Yeah, this is a huge deficit. There's no doubt about that. We need to get this deficit under control. But we're working on it. We're spending a lot right now, specifically on glass. Glass is our biggest problem. Steel is expensive, but it's not actually that big of a deal at this moment. So if we check in on our steel mill here, we can see, yeah, coal's a little bit expensive. But overall, steel, not too bad. We actually kind of hit our mark on steel. So that looks good. This steel mill should completely solve any steel shortage issues we might have. Glass, on the other hand, we need more glass production. No market goods shortage right now, though. That's due to the subvention of glass. How much are we spending on that? Actually, not much. About 1K. Well, we still want to boost up our own private, or not necessarily private, but our own domestic production of glass. Absolutely, we want to boost our domestic production of glass. So, eventually, we're going to want to remove all of our subventions. We're on rotary valve engine. That's about to be researched. And then dynamite is after that. Okay. So rotary valve engine is going to finish shortly. Do we want to go to covered markets? I think that requires glass, doesn't it? We probably don't want to do this yet. Yeah, glass and steel, that would be a little much. So no. It would also not produce transportation. And we do want to produce some transportation. So that seems fine. Now we're producing railways here. Okay, rotary valve engines is a lot of new production methods. Do these require motor industries? Let's see. Rotary valve engine is coal input. Done. So we can always build more coal mines. That's reasonably fine. We're going to switch over to rotary valve engines for all of these, and I do expect that this is going to significantly shock the price of coal. But we want to get these swapped over as soon as possible. I know for a fact that we do have a decent amount of coal production at this moment. The question is, how much can we expand it by, right? So let's hop into here and let's take a look. A lot. We can expand it by a whole lot. Okay. Coal is expensive, but we're not running a shortage. I'm going to build 2 coal mines in Lebanon, and we'll get those done in 12 weeks. There's a native uprising diplomatic play against us down over here. So we're going to have to send our forces down to go deal with that. That's fine. We'll mobilize them, and we'll deploy them out to this front. So off they go. They'll get there in plenty of time. Excellent. So we do really want to get those coal mines built, but we don't have a shortage of coal right now. One question that I have is, do we have any subventions that we can back off on? Yes. I think we can absolutely back off on our subvention of iron. Let's not do that. Glass, I think we still need, but I'm going to bring it down to high subvention for now. Lead, I'm going to remove from subventions. Dyes, we can't really make our own. I'm going to leave this at high subvention. Explosives, we can make our own. I'm going to pull back on that. Small arms, I'm going to pull back on. Clippers, I'm going to pull back on. Okay. There we go. So we've switched around our subventions a little bit. We still want to subvent some things, but eventually we want to replace those with domestic production. Absolutely. But for now, we're not really in a position to do it for those particular items. So our tooling workshop is going to be done in 2 weeks here. Our coal mines in 6. Then we can take a look at probably producing additional glass, is what I'm thinking. Yeah, we have low organization over here, but that doesn't really matter. It's completely fine. This war hasn't even broken out yet, so it's okay. So let's think about more glass production. So if we were to produce more glass, how much glass do we actually need? What's our shortage here? We're the number 2 producer worldwide already? Okay. So we're currently short a decent amount. We've got 90 coming in from trade. So let's call it about 400 approximately. It's a little more than that, but each of these is 50, so that means that we would need a fair amount. So let's go to our existing Palestinian glassworks and let's expand this. So that's 50, 100, 150, 200, and then now this is negative in its earnings. So let's just build something about like that. And I do want to get these coal mines done. We'll do this. Okay, so these glassworks will get finished up pretty quickly, and that'll be very good for us. Then we can back off on the subventions even further once those are done. So out over here, this is not going to be a big deal. We're going to have that crushed very quickly. Mechanized workshops just came in. Okay, so that gives us 3 new production methods. Let's take a look here. So textile mills can go to sewing machines. That should be fine, but it's going to be more dyes. We can also go to mechanized looms, which does reduce the number of dyes that we need to input. Here we can go to mechanized workshops for furniture manufactories. That seems great. And what was that third production method? Sugar plantations should be on rail transportation, but that wasn't it. I don't know. Maybe we weren't eligible for it. Okay, so things are looking pretty good here. We do have this tooling workshop going in from private construction, and we're building lots and lots of glassworks. We have a steel mill going into Israeli Croatia. I like it. And overall, things are looking pretty okay. Our main issue right now is our deficit, but that's fine. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to continue to expand our glass production and hopefully get this deficit a little bit more under control. But our economy is going to start absolutely soaring with our increased construction. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.